But let's talk about Mike Cernovich. Um, I like Mike. Mike is my friend. Uh, Mike's one of the few people who has actually given me advice that has literally changed my life. And but you also need to keep in mind that Mike is a masterful troll. Okay. Now, all of you are, but see, here's the thing. Steve Sampson says, Cernovich was my gateway drug to Vox, and I will not forget that even if he turns out to be some Muslim apologist. Okay. Now, keep this in mind. Mike has built his massive following through a judicious technique of picking fights and stoking outrage on a regular basis. That whole Cuck Rogan thing, not referring to Joe Rogan, but Seth, was hilarious and really had a big impact on how a lot of people started following him on Twitter. So, given that Mike has just said something incredibly controversial, something that has really caused a lot of people to pay attention to him, especially at a time when he'd been relatively quiescent for some time. Is there any possible reason that Mike might want to attract attention at the moment? I throw this out there for those of you who are capable of performing this kind of analysis. Is there any reason why he might like to have people looking his way right now? You know, he has a movie out. Hoaxed is out. It's very good. I know a number of the people who are involved, and they are very good at what they do. So the chances that this is based on some sort of sincere conversion to Islam is absolutely nil. Let's just say the probabilities are incredibly low. And I encourage you to check out Hoaxed. I absolutely encourage you to check out Hoaxed. You know, it's about the media lying to you. You know, Cerno is raising his game. He's raising all of our games. And the idea that he, you know, what he's doing there, he's not calling out Christianity. He's not denigrating Jesus Christ in any way, shape, or form. What he's doing is he's bringing attention to his new project at the same time that he is correctly calling out Christians for their failure to defend the West, for their failure to defend their churches, and for their failure to defend their nations. And I totally agree with that criticism. And so, you know, I would just encourage you to keep that in mind. Also, if you've read his book, which I published, MAGA Mindset is, you know, we actually talked about changing the title because what it's really about is what he's doing there. It's really about controlling the media cycle. And so I think that you need to keep that in mind, that when he's doing things like disavowing Trump or suggesting that moderate Islam is the only way to save the West, you need to keep in mind that he is speaking in rhetoric. You cannot take rhetoric seriously in the same way that you take dialectic. Think about it. Rhetoric is about emotion. What emotion does he stir in you when he tells you that he disavows Trump? He is persuading you to come to the defense of Trump, to realize that Trump needs to be defended. I think Ann Coulter is doing much the same thing. Neil Patrick is correct. He said, we Christians complain about Sharia creep when we should be trying to pass blasphemy laws. We don't even need to try to pass blasphemy laws. They're on the books. We just haven't been enforcing them for decades. So, anyhow, I think I've never read Giorgio Agamben. So, also, when you need to keep in mind too. So, I don't think that Mike Cernovich's recent actions qualify in any way, shape, or form as him exposing Feet of Clay. Mike is doing what Mike does very well, and with Hoaxed, he is helping expose people to the truth. And that is the purpose of rhetoric, is to point towards the truth, even if what you're saying is not dialectically true. Remember, there's no information content in rhetoric.